The idea that it's okay to murder a child because it's growing inside your body, a body which, by the way, was designed for that very purpose, and you yourself was born in that same manner, is the epitome of selfishness, lack of accountability, and individualism.
Science tells us that the baby in the mother's body is a distinct and separate life from the mother with its own DNA and blood type. A woman's right over her own body does not include the right to ending the life of an innocent child.
My body, my choice. It depends on what exactly are you choosing to do with your body. In this instance, you have another human being in your body. It's clearly your body, but that body within you has rights too. It's just premature and voiceless. Listen, if you're comfortable killing the baby inside you, at least own it. That's all I'm saying. You can dress it up in nice words and change the definition all you want, but deep down, I'm sure you know what it is.
My body, my choice is an idea that allows a person to reject biological truth, objective reality, moral accountability in favor of a person's feelings, aka selfishness, even if it comes down to murder.
Did you catch the clip? There was a woman holding a sign saying, "Hell hath no fury," like 162 million women scorned. And I told you on the Solution podcast first, feminism is scorned female collective consciousness. And if you've ever interacted with a scorned female, they throw logic and reason right out the window because they're over-consumed by their feelings, which is usually the feeling of wrath and anger.
Happiness over duty is another tenet of this individualism religion that's being pushed onto society. It's this narcissistic, self-centered idea that says that life is about feeling happy and everyone must comply.
Another question for them, and I'm genuinely curious. Let's say if you end up very unhappy, or maybe you're just like, something can just switch, you know, maybe you can just like, oh, I don't like him anymore. Would you stay married to him for the rest of your life? You're not sexually attracted, you don't like, he's just not funny anymore, you just don't like him anymore.
Do we have kids?
Yeah.
If we have kids, it's not about me anymore.
So you would rather see your children grow up in a home where parents are sleeping in separate bedrooms, they don't talk, they don't hold hands, they don't kiss.
I would rather see my kids grow up in a home where they're at every statistical advantage rather than statistical disadvantage. Because if the father is out of the home, that you put that kid at risk.
Listen, choosing happiness over duty is immediately bypassing your logic for your emotion. Logic is meant to be the gatekeeper. Rationalizing is meant to challenge your intention and ask yourself if this is the right thing to do. Your insight will show you the possible future outcomes, and you get to decide what is desirable or undesirable.
The objective reality is that humans are happiest when they are of service to others. Our entire existence is set up in that way. So if that's the case, then how can what a person feel take precedence over duty?
Who's happier, the girl that's got an OnlyFans or doing porn, or the woman who's living in Kashmir, where I'm from, with her kids and family and has a purpose? The girl who's doing OnlyFans, these men are not going to come to your funeral. No one's going to care. Whereas that woman who's looking after her children, she's got a legacy, and there's nothing more beautiful than that. And you're telling me my culture is oppressive when I find your culture humiliating. And so that's where my kind of anti-feminism came from, because I was just constantly being told that I'm oppressed when I could not feel more liberated when I don't post like that, and I don't live that lifestyle, and I don't drink, and I don't frivolously date or anything like that.
See, she's talking about the rewards after following her duty, embracing her culture of becoming a mother, having a family and looking after her children. Salute to her for being strong enough to reject feminism and the women trying to tempt her to go down the path of choosing fun and going on OnlyFans. As an individual, do what you want to do within reason, but what are you trying to do to get other women to follow your individual ways? Why are you so interested in them joining you? Because by definition, you're breaking your individualism principles. You're stepping into the realm of collectivism. You should be embracing your individuality and remain loyal to your individual efforts.
You hear it all the time. I can't afford a child, so it's best to abort it. Why am I going to bring a child into this world when I can't afford it? It's not fair on the child. Well, that's bullshit, isn't it? Bullshit. Most people around the world are poor. And they have families. Not one child, not two children. They have loads of children. The truth is this. You want to live a selfish lifestyle. You want to live a life that you can't afford. That's what's really going on. You don't want to go down in lifestyle in order to raise a family. So guess what you'd rather do? You'd rather kill a child. You'd rather murder them in order for you to continue living this selfish lifestyle. That's what's really going on, isn't it? Yeah? How is it that we live in the richest period in human existence, and yet you can't raise a child, or yet you're too broke to raise a family? How does that make any sense at all? And yet we have real examples of people right now around the world who are extremely poor, and yet they have 5-6 children.
Why do you own a BMW?
Because I love the car, just the brand, and I love driving it, so I don't know.
So to me, that's where it gets interesting, right? Do you, or do you like what the brand does to make you look to other people? I don't know. I'm not assuming.
I know, you have a point. You have a point.
I don't know you, but I know in the macro that 98% of people that buy a Mercedes or BMW likes what it makes other people think of them, not that they like it. And that $487 a month versus what they really need, which is $100 a month, is why they have a job they hate, because they're paying for a life that means nothing. The amount of people in here that have a job they hate and they buy things they don't care about to impress people they don't give a fuck about scares the shit out of me.
Being over concerned with materialism usually relates to seeking happiness. The modern world of consumerism has hardwired people to think stuff will lead to happiness, when the truth is happiness comes from the expression of happiness. That's how you be happy. But we focus on the receiving end, receiving happiness, receiving materialism. But you have to give before you get. Think about it. Giving comes before getting.
Never in history have human beings been richer. This is a fact. Never in history have human beings have had more opportunities. This is also a fact. It's fair to say that good parenting today boils down to buying kids their latest Jordans, iPads, and Xbox.
These are the trends I see in society. It's becoming more materialistic. And it's so funny because I hear women say again and again and again they can't afford children, yet they find a way to afford a $50,000 wedding, a $20,000 wedding. And it's becoming, even though marriage really is a way for people to basically have generational wealth, right? If people get married and stay married, that's a way to have generational wealth. But it's so interesting because I was thinking about how in society, we really have a society where men are slaving away for women. Because what happens is men pay over $100,000 more in tax in their lifetime than women. So men are essentially working their lives to give money to women.
Again, exposing the selfishness of too much individualism. Being more concerned about a wedding day, which is just a day, over children only exposes your list of priorities in life. A big part of marriage is having children, creating a legacy, then passing on your accumulated wealth to your children. Why get married if you're not concerned about marriage? Just throw a $20,000 party and have a fancy dress, make-believe wedding if you want it so bad. Inclusivity is impossible because to be inclusive is to be absolute. And in the material plane of existence, perfection does not exist. The closest you'll get is 80-20 or 90-10. It will never be complete what you wish for. That 100% inclusiveness is a fantasy.
If it's okay for you to call other people rude, I'd like to understand from your perspective why you don't believe it's rude and why you think you have a right to, when someone identifies a certain way, for you to tell them that that is not correct, that they are that particular gender or identity.
why do I feel that it's right to tell them the truth?
But it's not
You know,
the truth.
the people who hate the truth, are because they see the truth as hateful. If you want to identify in any way you can, you're free to do so. But that does not mean that the rest of us have to join that illusion.
Inclusiveness is the idea that everyone needs to be represented, celebrated, championed, and included. What about pedophiles? Are they going to be represented, championed, and included? Is that what's going to happen? Because we are heading towards that path. We are heading towards that way. What happens when pedophilia becomes legal? Am I going to be required to celebrate it, champion it, and represent it? I mean, come on. Just before the 1960s, homosexuality was illegal, but now it's legal. Where does it stop? Where does this inclusiveness stops? Where? Is every degenerate behavior going to be inclusive? Are we going to end up celebrating every degenerate behavior? Are we? Is this the end goal? Because it sounds like the end goal. I believe in respecting someone from another race. Absolutely. There are good things about inclusivity, but for the most part, I don't think it's good in the long run.
You know, a lot of gay people say they were born that way. They said that, you're saying
a lot of murderers say they were born murderers. A lot of pedophiles say they were born pedophiles. So if we're going to say there's a gay gene, we're going to have to open up the conversation and say that there's a pedophile gene, which means if I molest children, I shouldn't go to jail because after all, it was in my DNA. Be careful about opening up one door. You got to open up all them doors.
But no, hold on. Being a pedophile is illegal. Being a homosexual is not illegal.
There's an organization called the North American Association for Man and Boy Love. They're trying to normalize and legalize pedophilia.
Oh, no, we got to blow them up.
It's on the internet. North American Association.
That sounds crazy.
Oh my goodness. In fact, it's already been predicted that when the next DSM comes out, pedophilia will be normal behavior.
We need to drop a
Remember,
bomb on them
homosexuality
right
was once mental illness up until 74. They changed it in 74. Some people thought homosexuality would never be considered normal in 74.
But it was never illegal.
It was never illegal. But here's the thing. Once you say something is normal, it's easy to make it legal.
When you open the gate, you open the gate. When you open the gate, you open the gate. Thank God there's still some sane, rational people out here. Our duty as a community or society was to shut down irrational conversations whenever it was brought up. They never should have got this far. They never should have got into positions of power and had the ability to pass anti-life laws. That's a reflection on us, which begs the question, how many amongst us are really like them, still in the closet? Or you can say it's a reflection of how tolerant to chaos we've become and how uninterested and undisciplined and lazy we've become to uphold the natural order of things.
The question one needs to ask is, how far are people willing to sacrifice objective truth, moral standards to be inclusive? As a Christian, I live by objective truth. So if I see that something is objectively not true, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just go along with it? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Pronouns, for example. I'm supposed to address someone by their pronouns, even though I disagree with it. Even though I think it's nonsense. But I have to go along with it, whether I like it or not. This is what's being pushed upon us. This is what this idea of inclusivity is all about. I know you guys don't see it right now because it sounds good and there's good aspects to inclusivity. But in the long run, think about it. What is it that you're going to have to be inclusive? What is it that you're going to have to accept as inclusive? Think about that. Just think about that for a second. Yeah? Are you going to be, what if they tell you we need to make sure pedophilia is, inclusive? They need to feel included. Are you going to be okay with that? Or are you not? Be careful with this idea of inclusivity, because this idea of inclusivity can lead a lot of people down the wrong path Okay? We should not be normalizing degenerate behavior. This idea of inclusivity is very immoral, very wrong. There's a place for it, but that place can be exploited and it can lead many people down the wrong path.
The religion of individualism acknowledges the half-truth that you can do as you please as an individual, but it doesn't acknowledge the other truth that the collective can do as it pleases as a collective too. And it's only special individuals that can overcome the power of the collective. Otherwise, in most cases, individuals are bound by the will of the collective. Our laws of the land is a reflection of this. Another way an individual can overcome the collective is to become the collective by teaming up with other individuals who share the same point of view. But check this, the moment the individual teams up with somebody else, they're no longer operating on the concept of individualism, which by definition should be a solo effort. They're using collective concepts to achieve individual objectives. Crazy.
We murder babies and call it women's rights. For heaven's sakes, think about that. We're not producing enough baby to replace ourselves. That's how selfish we have become. The religion of individualism is real, people. You better take it serious. Stop being selfish. Stop being self-serving. Realize what you're put on earth for, and that is to be of service to others. Signing out, man. Salute. Octavio.